Welcome to another episode of the Courtside podcast. I'm your host, Fui, co-host, Mr. Besu.
What up? What up?
Today, we're going to be going over the Hoopers division. As the regular season comes to an end, playoffs are set in our top division, and we are in for another great bracket and playoffs in our top divisions. The number one seed, Los Gallos, led by Eddie Buckets, KG, John Michael, Ali, Alvin Santos. Who am I missing?
I think that's the whole squad.
That's not the whole squad. Is it?
I believe so.
Is it?
Ali.
Michael Branas, don't sleep on him. He comes off the bench and can shoot. Frankie Garcia's on this roster. But yeah, really, their top four, Eddie Buckets, KG, you got John Michael, you got Ali. As the number one seed, impressive with that roster. We know how good this division is, obviously. They held down the number one seed, so shout out to them. And then the play-in game. They're going to play the winner of Life Alert and Matter Elite, okay? Matter Elite, Chris Mejia, Slim, Reggie, their other big dude that's got size. Matter Elite's tough. I think the size of Matter Elite is really what's going to take the toll on Life Alert. Life Alert is a team of guards, pretty much. They don't have any bigs. Shout out to Life Alert because they put pressure on the defense constantly with their ability to drive to the basket and their stamina with Pooch and Carlos and Frankie, and they get to the rack and they play hard, man. They play hard, and they got some strength where they're gonna bang and they're not gonna let you bully them. But I think the size of length of Matter Elite, with their two bigs in Reggie and in Freddie, and then Angel Borges, Life Alert's downfall. I think if Life Alert would have had one or two bigs, I know they had Eugene on the roster, but he never showed up. You had one solid big, I think Life Alert's a team that's a contender. I think their lack of size and their lack of depth is ultimately what's going to hurt them. So I got Matter Elite winning that game and advancing to the first round to play Los Gallos.
Yeah, man. Matters. You could never sleep on this team. I don't know why they're in the playing game. I think they haven't had availability throughout the season. But with their full roster, they're definitely going to make a run. They're going to scare people because Slim and Mejia are some of the best guards that we've seen play together. And then, do any of these playing guys have a chance against Los Gallos?
Yeah, I think Matter Elite does. I think that Slim has a lot to prove in these playoffs because in the rec division, he plays with Lee Roofing and he plays with Chris Mejia and Angel Borges. He plays Matter Elite, which is his team in Hoopers, Chris Mejia, Angel Borges, and obviously some more pieces. He is in the play-in game in both divisions, in rec and in Hoopers. In terms of winning, it has been a horrible season for Slim and Mejia and those guys. Slim, we know, is a super competitive person and player, right? Slim is the type of player that could go off and win you a game. Slim takes pride in being one of the top guards in this division and in the league. He's not getting the job done in terms of W's. His individual stats have been there, but getting wins is ultimately how you're judged, right, as an athlete. And they got a lot to prove, man. And the reason I say Slim, and I know Mejia has a lot to prove as well. Mejia's more of a passive guy, friendly guy. Shout out to him. One of the top sportsmanship awards every year. Slim is a fiery type guy that wants to win. I expect him to have a big playoffs in both teams that he's on. Lee Roofing and Rec, Matter Elite in Hoopers. Obviously, he's created a tougher path for himself, having to win playing games to even get to the playoffs. But Slim is a dog. Slim has that chip on his shoulders. At the 4-5 matchup, we have a rematch of possibly, for sure, the best game of this season. Possibly, you say the best game of all time that you've seen at Courtside? Those are big words.
Yeah, man, because we've had good games in the lower divisions, but This was the highest level of basketball that we have. The best division, NBA players, ex-college players. Like, this game was amazing. I spoke to this individual the other day and had some very, very very big predictions for himself and the team, and I'm gonna hold him to it. I spoke to Oscar, and Oscar says that this is the season he's gonna win the championship. Uh, he
Oscar Ruiz.
Oscar Ruiz.
So we've moved on to Bullets and the Hive. Remember, Team
Oh,
Indigo
God.
is Matt Get Buckets,
Okay, no.
Caleb,
Start it
Rodney,
again.
Simeon.
Start it again. Start it again.
All right. So at the 4 and the 5 matchup,
Cut that out, Pablo.
the 4 or 5 matchup, we got Team Indigo versus a day in Miami. It's a rematch of the regular season matchup when Team Indigo had like a 20-something point lead. Matt Get Buckets, their leader, Matt Get Buckets, shout out to him. He's a baller. But he was talking shit, looking at us in the crowd. Yo, we got to be the best team here at Courtside. We've blown out all these teams. Talking too early because they're up 20-something in the first half. Dancing after scoring, mocking the other team. You should know better than to do that to some former NBA players, Carlos Arroyo, Keith Bogans. They put on a masterclass in the comeback. Arroyo had a vintage game, took over, put on a show, and a day in Miami ended up winning on a buzzer beater with Keith Bogans off the inbounds. Best game of the season, any division, arguably one of the best games that you've seen here at Courtside.
Yeah, man, that game was awesome. I mean, these guys, I've always said this, and you know it. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. At halftime, Carlos Arroyo was pissed. He asked these guys, "Yo, are we gonna play or what?" And Keith Bogan says, "Let's get out of the fucking zone and let's play some man-to-man defense." That's what changed the game. These guys started playing some hard defense, started playing the real way that they're able to play. And I mean, Indigo has a lot of firepower, Rodney Simeon and Matt, but I think now with a day in Miami, if they have the team, if Bogan shows up, Arroyo, they now got BJ, Shabazz,
BJ showed up.
Carter, they got the size, they got everything. That team has to win the division. That team has to win the division.
Indigo can get redemption. I know that pissed them off when they lost that game. They felt stupid for taking their foot off the gas and celebrating too early. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. At 3 and 6, we got Bullets that have had a hell of a season, led by their captain and their point guard, Oscar Ruiz. At the Hive, a team that I play on, you know, Kevin O'Brien, David Bravo, Jay, Johnny Minervino's been playing great, Santi. And then you got Bullets with, you know, Oscar Ruiz and CJ and Gabe, and Greg has had an amazing season at all divisions. So shout out to him. What do you think of that and Oscar Ruiz, which has had a great season?
I spoke to Oscar the other day. I saw him out with Jeff. I was with Andre, and he's got a lot of big predictions. He says that this is his season, this is his year. I mean,
To do what?
to win it all. He says that
He made a statement and a prediction
Oscar Ruiz,
that the Bullets.
he will vouch for himself because he's a man of his word. He says that he's going to win the entire division, and the reason why is because he's got a bunch of guys on the team that are slept on. They weren't picked up by other people, and they don't think that there are any stars. They don't have any stars on that team, but together they play as a unit. I agree with him. I don't know if they're going to win the whole thing, but they do have the personnel to win. They're scrappy. They play hard. And Oscar's having a tremendous season. So hopefully he could get it done. And, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how far they can go led by him. What do you got?
I got the Hive because I play for the Hive and I believe in my team. I think we've been playing great as of late. You know, we're led by Kevin O'Brien, which I think is one of the best players in the league, and I think that, you know, we play the right way. We move the basketball. I mean, this is a great matchup because I think it's kind of similar talent-wise, but I think it's two teams that compete, two teams that play good basketball. It's not a one-on-one show. You're going to see ball movement. You're going to see screens. You're going to see defense. You're going to see communication on the defensive end. You're going to see good rotations. It's going to be a high-level game, not necessarily because of the athletes or the talent, which is obviously there, but it's going to be more a strategic battle, a high IQ battle. But, you know, I believe in my guys. I think the Hive is going to win. And then in the last matchup, we got the battle of the injury hubs. Injury Hub Elite, Injury Hub Select. Injury Hub Elite, 305 buckets. Jasmel showed up for them and is eligible now for playoffs. You got Eastman, you got Sam Miller, you have A-Rod, Pat Smith, Bully Suarez. Injury Hub Select, you got Surge, you got Sparv, you have Shaq, you have Bully Suarez's brother, Jonathan. You got Jeff, you got Elton Walker. Hell of a matchup. Some of the best players in the league, some legends of this league, some of the best young talent will be in that matchup, both representing Injury Hub. Shout out to our sponsor, Injury Hub. Who do you got there?
I don't know, man. This is a great matchup. I think the team with Shaq has a little bit too much size with him and Elton. Maybe Josmel and Alex, they both play together at Palmetto. Maybe they have enough to go at it with these guys. But I think Jeff is a little too much for Eastman. I think he's the X factor in this game. Jeff, when he gets in, he's able to really shoot the deep ball, get these people involved. And then you got Sparv. But this is a great matchup. I mean, I don't know. Pat has been balling lately, and so is Josh Mel's an animal. So we'll see. That's probably the best game in the first round. I'm going to go with the blue team.
I'm going to go with Injury Hub Elite, and this is why. We've talked about it, about keeping your composure in a playoff game, that it's single elimination. It's not a 7-game series, 5 or 3-game series. It's one game. When you look at these rosters, you look at Injury Hub Select, right? When refs make bad calls, because at every level, even NBA, they make bad calls. When your teammate takes a couple bad shots, which is part of a game, right? Are they going to stick together or are they going to start fighting? You got Surge. You got Jonathan that are capable of starting to get involved with the ref or fight with each other, right? You got Sparv that's known to complain to the refs as well, right? Jeff has been much better in terms of keeping his composure. Elton Walker's not a problem. But when you look at this Injury Hub elite team, it's just a team that seems more stable and composed, Suarez is not as bad. 305 buckets. Sam Miller, Pat Smith. Like, these guys play ball. These guys play more together. These guys don't argue. They don't bicker. They don't get too involved. They stay focused on the game. I could see a situation where if it's a close game and Injury Hub Select in crucial moments towards the end of the game goes down or hits a little bit of adversity, will Serge be able to keep his composure? I don't know. There's been times he has. There's been times where him and Jonathan fight back and forth. They argue about subs. They're fighting with the refs. They get a stupid tech that ends up costing them the game. I don't feel comfortable making a prediction of a team that cannot stay level-headed and have emotional stability. In a one-game situation, I don't feel comfortable predicting that team to win. So I'm going to go with Injury Hub Elite.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. John and Serge have been at it. They've been going at it in the past, but I think they've really matured. They've done a great job this season. They're able to communicate a little bit better, and they know that they got to be as a unit. They got to play together to reach the pinnacle. So I think they've matured. I think that it's really going to show this playoffs. That team is very loaded, man.
All right, so that'll do it for our Hoopers division. Definitely going to be an interesting division. Load of talent, our most talented, highest level division. Comment below who you think will come out on top of that division. We'll have another podcast next week as the first round ends and as we go into the second round to make more prediction and talk about past games. Thank you for tuning in to the Courtside podcast.
Later.